and move on to introduce our first of our speakers, Adam Holloway. Adam is from Cisco. He has spent a considerable amount of time in the US working for Cisco and various other places, and more recently has made his home here in Sydney. So actually less than more recently, or more than more recently, in the last 4 years. We're also very proud to say that Adam is one of our Global Executive MBA students. We have a really exciting program here in the MBA. We have a number, in fact, of our graduates here with us today. And Adam is a great product of that system, so we're very proud to introduce him today. Thank you very much, Adam.
Thanks, Christine. Appreciate it, guys. Nothing like taking advantage of a beautiful Sydney day by coming into a dark room and listening to presentations. So sorry about that. It is the North American tour, Adam followed by Adam. I'm going to be talking a little bit today about the TV room being disrupted. When Kai contacted me to do this presentation, he made me swear to not make it a sales pitch. So, truth in advertising, I am a salesman. I'm also a recovering engineer. So, been with Cisco Systems for a number of years. And for those of you that may not be aware, Cisco designs and deploys the networks of the world. And so what that means is we're really good at connecting machines to people, people to machines, and the world to each other. Nice big lofty flowery statements like that. But at the end of the day, what we do, and what I did for a number of years here in Sydney, is work with some of our broadcast customers like Channel 7, 9, 10, SBS, ABC, you get the idea, Foxtel, Fairfax, on taking their content, taking their stories, more importantly, and getting them out to you. So bear with me today, as this is not a sales pitch, as this is just my insights and experiences that I've had in 10 years at Cisco. I get to make some pretty lofty statements today, some pretty challenging remarks, things like television is dead. So whilst it may not be dead, I would offer that linear TV is going through a fundamental shift that is pretty normal, actually. So whilst I loved Adam's presentation, I would offer that the world is a little bit more nuanced. I would offer that there's some reasons why companies do what they do and say what they choose to say at a given period of time. And let me be clear, I totally agree with what Adam said about getting more content out and creating the sense of collaboration and empowerment. 110% agree on that. But what I'm hoping each and every one of you can walk away from here today is understanding why some of these companies choose to not do that. Why some of these companies have chosen to block the dissemination of information, have chosen to not monetize in some markets, but have chosen to go very hard in others. So to be able to do that, we'll give you a little bit of background. Again, my own personal inflection on that background, trends and observations from Cisco and other data sources, and then we'll look at old media versus new, and then the real opportunity for us as individuals. Again, please consider the media vertical, if you will, as just an example of one industry going through a great deal of change. So it doesn't matter if you're a car manufacturer, a computer manufacturer, a government agency. Every one of these verticals and industries are actually going through very similar changes that the media industry went through. And that is, people are changing, their demands are changing. So the same sort of format, the same sort of engagement that those industries had with their customers has changed pretty dramatically and pretty quickly. A bank used to be able to service its customers by setting up a branch and expecting its customers to actually come into the branch. I, however, would rather not talk to anyone at the bank. I just want an ATM or a web page to be able to do my transactions. I don't want a card. I don't want cash. I just want a card that'll give me access to all my information to be able to transact with. So quality is sometimes being sacrificed for convenience, right? That very rich engagement, that very rich relationship you may have with your local banker is being sacrificed for the convenience of going to the ATM at 2 in the morning after a big night out, right? And more people in the world are choosing that convenience over the quality. Finally, with this, complexity is being added exponentially to this growth horizon as well. So not only does that bank have to maintain a branch and do that really well and maintain the high quality relationship in that branch, but it also has to add on the online experience, it has to add on the mobile banking experience, and the broadcasters have experienced this exact same phenomenon. So I don't know about you, but my family does not crowd around the TV like this anymore. And yet this is a model that existed since, what, the 40s and 50s. So it doesn't matter that broadcasters and advertisers had built up this beautiful, healthy ecosystem of making money and monetizing content between 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 stakeholders. People wanted more choice. So whether that was with the advent of cable TV systems in the 60s, where an entrepreneurial gentleman took a big antenna and put it up on the top of a hill, it could now receive signals from Philadelphia and New York and plus the local broadcast channels, bundle that all in a cable, and then put that out to the TV in his local valley in Pennsylvania. The model changed, right? So this model is no longer viable. Many broadcasters and many hardware manufacturers would think that this is now the new paradigm. You know, I've got my old TV. I've now connected it to the internet. I put a big cable right into the back. And so now I've got access to all the same stuff that I do on my PC, which is great. It allows me to tweet on the TV. And I don't know how to tweet, first of all, so sorry, I'm a Luddite. But it's not the right format I would offer for the right device, right? And you'll notice that this marketing campaign is remarkably similar to this, right? It's the same family crowded around the TV, looking at the same content all at once, consuming it, rather than being active participants in it. So, you know, this is probably more similar to how we watch TV, right? And some good chuckles. You know, the TV's on. Not sure what's really on. It might be a footy match. It might be something that's been recorded, but it's on. We all like to still come together as a community to hear stories together. But if you're like my family, we tend to not watch the TV too much. My wife will be shopping on the iPad. I'll be doing some work on my iPad or my phone or texting a friend. My 9-month daughter, God bless her, I put Anna and Bananas and Blue's Clues in front of her just to occupy her a bit. So point being here is we're all doing different things in the same room, trying to entertain ourselves. So how does the broadcaster that made a lot of money out of this and had a nice clean distribution model with this now monetize the same content that, by the way, costs a heck of a lot more nowadays and compete with all of the attention-seeking things in that room? Right, so again, please consider the media vertical as just an example of other verticals. So ABC iView, God bless our tax dollars, is doing a great job of getting content out there for free. Right? So their whole remit is to just take everything that they make and again plug it onto the internet and get that out to you as cheaply as possible. They don't really care if you're watching it or not, but you've got access to it. Joking, being a little bit facetious there. The free-to-air broadcasters have done another really interesting thing. They've tried to create this open yet closed ecosystem, which is a phenomenal tact. They've been able to incorporate chat, right, which is something that we do when we like to watch TV. It allows us to be yet more social. They allow us to vote on those TV shows that we're watching, so it increases engagement, right? It allows those broadcasters to show that people are actually involved in that TV show, that they're doing multi-channel, that they can monetize yet another channel and yet another path of engagement. And it also allows you to gamify watching TV, which is something that's kind of funny to me. It allows you to continue that engagement by getting people even more involved in watching your TV. Now, notice across the bottom here that there's a heck of a lot of complexity, right? There's iPhone, there's iPad, there's Samsung devices on who knows what version of Android. There's Android phones, because not all Samsung are Android phones, and then there's also Android tablets. So there's a point being here again. There's a lot of complexity in this type of model, again, to rein in the same sort of eyeballs that they used to get in a much more confined fashion. Foxtel has done a phenomenal job, I think. Yeah. Yep. So Foxtel Go, Foxtel Play have done an absolutely phenomenal job in helping customers get more money, get more value, excuse me, out of the same content. Freudian slip. Out of the same content that they've put into the market, right? And for me, I'm gladly going to pay for that value, for that simplicity, for that ease of access. Now, an interesting insight here, it might be because I'm an American, where 89% of Americans pay for pay TV, versus, what is it, around 10% of Australians pay for pay content. 30% now with All-Star. So this is, again, a great asset to you as a consumer, but additional cost and complexity on the content broker or the content distributor. That's a challenge, right? They have to manage the cost as they roll out these new features and manage that transition. How long do I sit on something that's making a lot of money before engaging in a broader market that could make us more money but also protect some of that market as well? So hats off to the Foxtel crew. ZBox is yet another model within Foxtel that's tried to bring in the collaborative aspect of watching TV. Again, ZBox allows Foxtel to leverage a global company and practice to deepen the engagement with content. So it allows you to chat, vote, do a lot of the collaborative things that individuals want to do, but not just on their content, across multiple content producers and distributors. So again, lots of ideas and lots of ways that these broadcasters are having to try and regain control of your eyeballs and your attention span in this new world that we're all struggling in. So if we can pause for a quick moment and look at what this means. Working for Cisco, we're pretty privileged to have access to the core of many of our customers' networks, right? The cables that interconnect things to the internet and people to the internet. And as a result of it, don't worry, we're not the NSA, but as a result of it, we have access to the types of traffic that's going through those networks. So the point of these lines, it's consumer video, business web, consumer online gaming, and file sharing. If you look here, the amount of data that's actually used to do shopping on eBay has not increased that much year on year, right? It's pretty static, it's pretty flat. What has increased is voice and online video. Wow, this time has gone by really quickly. To use another example, in the US, half of all internet traffic is consumed by two service providers, and that's Netflix and YouTube. So again, the high-level view here is that even in Australia, video is up and to the right. It's the only thing that's growing exponentially.
Is that because we're watching Netflix here?
Not yet. I am, but some people aren't. Yeah. Yeah, so it's YouTube, and it's some of the other over-the-top content providers as well. Yeah. So again, sorry, I'm going through the slides really quickly because we're out of time. But key things here is it's not just about broadcast video. It's also connecting that broadcast video to the mobile play and allowing that to be accessed from anywhere in the world on any device at any time. All right, so what does that mean? We're going to be moving away from this traditional linear broadcasting of content. We're moving away from time-shifting content, this whole idea of digital video recorder or a poor man's VCR or simple man's VCR, to more on-demand content, i.e. not broadcasting, but you and I get the content that we want when we want it on the device that we want it. So what's that going to drive? More targeted advertising, more direct engagement with that end customer. Because I've requested the content, I know that I'm actually getting you what I want. I can now monetize that content that I'm giving you. And again, looking back to the future, content is still king. So even these new over-the-top players like Netflix, like YouTube, believe that content actually matters. That's why they're investing in these things like YouTube Spaces and the Netflix production of House of Cards, their own branded content on their own networks. So whether it's Facebook or YouTube, these other over-the-top players are very quickly trying to monetize the assets of the traditional broadcasters, and that's going to be a struggle. How do I continue to add value to those relationships as we go through that ecosystem and leverage those relationships across that ecosystem? So whether it's creating experiences, whether it's having suites of offers that I can monetize, or if I'm a cloud provider that's trying to go over the top and take advantage of someone else's network like Telstra or INET's, all of these offers would be applicable to content owners, content creators, or again, those people that are trying to create relationships off of other people's content. So the challenges in the solution I would offer. This is an example of a simplified diagram of a video distribution network, right? Believe it or not, it's a very simplified version of it, but it's pretty complex. But where there's complexity, there's an opportunity to simplify. And it's those broadcasters, it's those companies, it's those industries that are able to take advantage of a common platform that allows any content and any subscriber to plug into it to get the content that they want, when they want it, that are going to be able to monetize this new world of broadcast. So if I could leave you with a final thought, I'm right on time. This change is coming across industries, whether you like it or not. We can no longer say that I don't want it to happen. How are you going to take advantage of this transition? How are you going to actually strategically decide when to block or when to adopt a new technology? When to protect or when to open up and share and collaborate? I think it's very important to have that as a conscious decision. And I would challenge each and every one of you to ask yourself, if your child was developing this solution, how would he or she design it? What would he or she want out of it? Would they want a siloed approach, or would they want connectedness and openness and the ability to collaborate? So thank you very much for the time. Appreciate it.